Hey, Gracie, tell them what they're watching.
Welcome back, farmers, to Popcorn Culture Podcast for popcorn, soda pop, popular media, and other popping things. We get our we get our popcorn every week from the local business Poppin' on Main. They change their menu every month, and if you're a local in Quincy, be sure to check it out. We get three flavors every episode of this. And okay, nothing new for us this week, but we got kettle corn. It's a classic at any popcorn place, and we got white cheddar. And I ordered birthday cake again, but I don't recall it having this color scheme before, so maybe it is new and different. I don't know.
I do.
And yeah, so it's the soda we got. We are only get one soda each week, so we are still getting some new ones every episode there. We've got Zots from Rocket Fizz, and it is watermelon flavor. I forgot to pull up my script. I'm gonna cut this part out. Okay.
And the watermelon flavor can be really hit or miss.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll pass it on that.
Today we revisited one of the two movie nights we did together before starting the podcast, Cannibal the Musical, the student film that South Park creator Trey Parker wrote and directed when he was in college. Lampooning overly cheerful musicals from the 1950s, such as Oklahoma, the musical tells the true story of Alfred Packer, a gold prospector who overstated his capabilities as a wilderness guide, getting himself and five other guys hopelessly lost in the Rocky Mountains, where he survived those cold winter months by eating the guys who had relied on him to get him safely through the mountains. Shot on location in the beautiful Colorado Rockies, making it look damn good despite its student budget, the film was screened locally in 1993 and distributed in 1996 by Troma. Not the people you want to boast about distributing your film, but hey, the film got distributed. And it was Troma who had the business sense to call the film Cannibal the Musical, believing that the original title of Alfred Packer the Musical wouldn't sell outside of Colorado, where the Packer story is known. I'm from Colorado and never heard of Packer before Mason showed me this movie, so there you go. The title makes you know it's about cannibalism.
It's right down the title.
Yeah. Our doomed party of traveling prospectors consists of Trey Parker himself as Alfred Packer, the horribly underqualified guide and fated cannibal. His acting credit lists him as Juan Schwartz, a reference to an alias used by Packer in the 9 years he was hiding out in Wyoming between his cannibalism and his arrest. His eternal co-producer Matt Stone plays James Humphrey, a neurotic fellow who was essentially gaslit by his father into taking the trip. The duo's regular collaborator Dion Bahar, best known for appearing alongside them in Basketball, portrays George Noon, the requisite wide-eyed young idealist of the group. Fellow co-producers Jason McHugh and Ian Harden respectively play Frank Miller, the group's cynical outsider, and Shannon Wilson Bell, the de facto leader and aspiring Mormon priest. And finally, John Hegel plays Israel Swan, a horrifically relentless optimist. Talking about these characters' depiction in the film, you understand? While the names come from the true story, I'm sure there's no historical basis whatsoever for their personalities and backstories in the film. Also appearing in the film are another irregular Parker and Stone collaborator, Toddy Walters, playing Polly Pry, a curious reporter seeking to get Packer's side of the story. Robert Muratori, Andrew Kemmler, and Edward Henwood play Frenchie Cabazon, Preston Nutter, and O.D. Lautzenheiser. In real life, members of Packer's original 21-man party who had the good sense to stay someplace safe for the winter, and it was Frenchie who found the wanted man Packer 9 years later. Here they're reimagined as a trio of jock fur trappers who push around the nerdy prospectors. And Masao Maki and other Japanese people as the Nihonjin Indian tribe. Trey Parker has an obsession with Japanese culture, which one might call a lot healthier than most people who'd make that claim. He is fluent in the language, which is why it crops up so often in South Park, and is real Japanese rather than the usual mock foreign language gibberish. Parker roped a few Japanese classmates into playing what appears to be a bunch of Japanese people disguising themselves as the indigenous Ute tribe. Figure that out. That's just one of the examples of the many Parkerian thumbprints you can find here in his first project that linger in his works to this day. Another one being the use of the name Leanne for the village bicycle, best known for being the first name of Eric Cartman's very sweet but promiscuous mother. Leanne Adamo was Trey Parker's fiancée, whom he caught sleeping with another man a month before their wedding, and this was very fresh in his mind when he wrote Cannibal, hence why this film's Leanne is Packer's beloved horse who runs off with Frenchie. Presumably due to having college credits of her own to earn, the original Leanne is the film's dance choreographer. I can't find anything about how awkward that must have been, but hell, that must have been awkward.
That's an understatement.
Yeah,
Well,
I'd say so.
So, there we go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Awesome.
Yep.
Party fellow.
Here we go. How do we open this? The discussion, I mean.
Oh, I was like, nope, we just opened the
Well,
bottles.
I would say that first and foremost, this is not our first time watching this movie.
No, we're
like some of our other podcasts.
yeah, we're revisiting it from our first time watching it together.
Yeah.
But when we did watch it the first time, I was the one who introduced you all to it
Yes.
because
Your choice for the movie night.
one, I love just about everything Trey Parker and Matt Stone have done when it comes to their satire.
Mhm.
I've seen the Book of Mormon, love the Book of Mormon, and I've been watching the show ever since. I've seen their other movie, Orgasmo, and Basketballs. I've seen a
Basketball.
lot of what they've
I love
done.
basketball.
They hate it, but
Mhm.
I love it.
I do too.
And it's just one of those things that I find, aside from being absolutely hysterical and just a ringing endorsement of the creativity they would later show the world, I love it mainly because I find it inspiring that this group of people out of film school with virtually no money by Hollywood standards was able to make something of this quality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And I still one day I would love to see this get turned into a big over the top Broadway caliber stage musical at some point.
Yeah, there was a West End version, but it opened
There-
in 2001, and
Yeah.
not much has come of
There
it
have been
since
a
then.
few stage productions there and in Canada. You know, it's got a following and rightfully so, but I still think it's a shame that when I talk to people about Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they don't know this one. And I hate the fact that no one understands it, that they don't know exactly what I mean when I say it's a shpadoinkle day.
It's a doinkle, doinkly, hoinkly, doinkly day. God, I love that intro song too.
Yeah.
Well, and it's no wonder that for the first however many seasons of South Park, that was the music that played underneath their production logo.
What was that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, was it cool?
Mhm.
The more you know.
As a result, when I watched South Park at an age way too young when I should have been watching it, I always heard the da 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 da. And then I saw the Cannibal. It's like, oh my god, that makes so much sense.
This is what they had before. I don't think I've ever heard that. I had his first season DVD, but I guess I never got to the end there. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Mhm.
But no, I just like if you want to swap, I'll swap you.
Okay.
Either or.
Sure. Here, everyone moved down one.
No, I already had this one.
Change places, just like the Mad Hatter.
Catacorn is my favorite. But no, I love watching this movie musical, whatever you call it,
Mhm.
because for one, can't catch everything in the first go around, and so when you watch it again, it's just you get to enjoy it and you get to see all the other parts you didn't get to
Yeah.
see the first go around. And I just liked it both times.
Mhm.
And I love the aspect of the very theatrical aspect of it. Like you said, it didn't have a great budget, but they still played it very well. They still had a great
I mean,
taste to it.
That opening scene, which disclaimer, if you are going to watch this movie and it's on Peacock right now, if you have Peacock, I highly recommend it. Do not be fooled by the first impression it sets. The first impression is easily the most violent and gory, and
Yeah,
it's got a moment for me that I just can't
It's
watch.
very trauma.
Yeah,
very trauma.
but
Trauma,
the
the
company.
distributors.
Oh, but that said, even though it's kind of gross, it's something right out of those 1970s B horror films that used a lot of practical effects to simulate gore and mutilation. And it is amazing, again, that people who, don't have the backing of any Hollywood studio or major effects warehouse were able to do something that effective.
Mhm.
And again, this is before the days of the internet where you could look up how to make fake blood or You know,
Fake
what
prosthetics.
effects do they use in Friday the 13th? You know, nowadays we can Google that stuff
Oh,
and
yeah.
find it out. This was done in 1990. Well, it was released in 93.
Mhm.
You know, they had to do all the research by either
By themselves or find
going through any and all textbooks they could find in their film
Well,
department.
they were in film school at the time, so
True, but again, it's still very impressive when you don't have, like I said, people who do this for a living, and
Exactly.
instead, this is essentially your first go of it, and you do it incredibly well.
yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, they have like a gory intro scene, and I like it. It opens with it opens like with a claim that it released the same year as the movie Oklahoma and failed due to competition, and I think I find in a way that makes the whole visual style a lot more palatable because it is shot very cheaply but on
Yeah.
very nice locations.
Yes.
And
God.
yeah, you'd almost believe it was from the 50s, if not for the specific brand of humor and
Yeah.
occasional twist of newer music than that.
Yeah.
And the bad words.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the bad
Well,
words,
that
so-
falls under the humor I
Yeah,
started with.
yeah.
Yeah.
But just,
But
oh, sorry,
Go
I was
ahead.
chewing at the same time. I was trying to say bud at the same time. But now I lost my train of thought. Never mind. Good. Never mind.
Did you notice how I love how we've adapted to this, like how so fast we corrected his misunderstanding there about trauma.
Yeah,
We're-
you're learning the Aaron very well.
Aaronisms.
Yeah,
Aaronisms.
But like I said, though, after the incredibly gory scene, what I love is they transition it to that scene being portrayed as the prosecutor detailing the events they think happened with Albert
Naturally,
Packer.
yeah.
And the fact that, well, for the most of it, minus a couple of things, they use the entire manuscript of that trial to pretty much
Yeah.
write their dialogue for them for those court scenes. And I mean, that's just an ingenious use of it. The idea that you take those words that somebody did say and make them funny through either the visuals or through the body language,
totally,
or
yeah.
the way it's shot. I mean, again, one of my favorite moments is Trey Parker's dad plays the judge and says, you know, Alfred Packer, I sentence you to death. And then they'll do a little dance in his chair.
Yeah.
Because everybody's cheering on.
Yeah, exactly. You know that didn't happen, but those were still the words he
Yeah,
said.
yeah. Exactly. It's like that old game of did Sarah Palin really say that, or was that just Tina Fey? Right? It's like that whole thing. Yeah. How silly was that trial, really?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like for like I mean, as I said, when outlining the cast, they took so much historical liberty with the characters, but I mean, they had like Packer allegedly really did make dollhouse furniture in his jail cell, and we see him doing that on several occasions.
Yep. I still love the relationship with Polly Pry, the idea of this journalist getting way too attached.
Oh my
God.
God. Yeah.
And of course it has to result in a romance because it's a musical.
Yeah.
You gotta have romance in there for a story that has like no women in it.
Yeah.
I love how fast the relationship.
Yeah,
is.
it's like Harleen Quinzel falling for the Joker, right?
Yes. Yes.
Pushed her in a vat of cannibalism.
Yep.
She loved it.
But yeah, and so she gets a lot of the songs play themselves pretty straight, and so she gets this great love ballad where she's staring off into the distance, and really the only part of it that's funny is when some guy comes down the stairs and you see him silently wonder where's she looking, and he stays there for some time.
And again, the other thing is hats off to them. You had some really great songs and really great singing. in
Yeah,
this film.
I mean, yeah, Trey Parker's songwriting is super underrated.
Oh, yeah.
It always has been.
Well, and I love the fact that when the time calls for it, he's not afraid to dub his actors.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as versatile a voice actor as he thinks, but he's pretty good.
Well, again, I mean the fact that like during the Trapper song, it's Trey singing, even though the other actor so
Yeah.
physically embodies that
Yeah,
character.
I mean that was very good. I cannot tell that's Trey Parker
Yeah.
singing, so that is one occasion where he really does show off some versatility.
But I mean, the fact that he could have just let that actor do whatever he wanted, but he realized it would carry more weight if it was sung with the power.
Yeah, if he is, and yeah, and he had the physical acting down.
Yeah.
And You know, you could tell the other two trappers couldn't sing. If
No.
they might have benefited from some dubbing as well.
But they were also supposed to be the dumbass sidekicks.
Yeah.
so-
And
Played it very well.
and Parker dubs a few other characters. Like there's this kooky old guy who warns them of upcoming doom. Parker called the guy who played that role the worst actor he'd ever met, and he's very hammy and wide-eyed, you could tell, but it's Trey Parker's
And
voice.
I found out he actually makes a living as an Alfred Packer impersonator.
I would, yeah, I knew there was some significance to that guy, so that's what was going on there.
So yeah, he got an Alfred Packer impersonator, but Trey thought it was horrible.
Yeah, and Parker also voices the two Nihonjin who first come across the party. They,
And I found out that one of their lines is, "This movie is stupid."
What do you tell?
Disclaimer, I've been studying Japanese on Duolingo. It's like the only hobby from the pandemic I've kept up with. And so while I can't really discern everything they're saying, I was able to pick out a couple of words. And so at one point I'm like, they said something about a movie.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure. Or like at one point he calls him Baka-san, and it's
Yeah,
like,
which is-
idiots.
yeah. And I noticed you laughed really hard when they mentioned the Nihonjin. Is that the first time you noticed that's what the tribe is called?
No,
Or
I
is
just
this-
always thought that joke was funny.
Nihonjin means Japanese people. Yeah, Jin, the suffix, means people from, like, the Saiyans from Dragon Ball Z are originally the Saiyajin.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I think that's also really funny is when they first meet the Indians, as they're called in this film, they're like, "So what tribe are you?
And
Are
the,
you?"
and the chief's like, we are Indians.
We
Can't
have,
you
we
tell?"
have teepees.
Yeah.
So the fact that the trappers somehow learned what kind of Indian they are.
Well,
And I love how they do.
Well, I mean, I get-
dude calls them assholes. Hey, we here with other assholes.
yeah. I mean, I suppose Frenchie would have gotten that by asking somebody besides the chief what tribe they are, right?
Still, though, it
Yeah.
was just really funny.
Mhm.
I also love when Noon was trying to pick up with the chief's
Yeah,
daughter,
yeah, I
and
think
all
that-
she can say is, "That's really interesting."
He's like, you don't understand a word I'm saying.
That's really interesting too.
And I love the first reaction where they're standing right next to that a long period of awkward silence. He's just
Well, it's just funny because anyone who's really tried to impress someone who's just not into you, you know that
Oh,
feeling, and they captured it perfectly.
perfect. It's like he dreads on you too. You're just like, oh, just walk away, man.
Please,
Walk away.
Just let me die. I'm embarrassed for you. Come on.
100%. Like, come on, dude. I was like, I know you want it bad because that was the one trope for him. He
Yeah,
was
that was
the
his.
horny young one.
Yeah, he was hoping to meet a girl at their destination, and yeah, he was very
There's
sad
an
to die of
entire
everything.
song
Yeah,
dedicated.
it was always asking for. It's always asking for.
So,
Classic I Want song.
Yes.
All 6 of our leads. Yeah.
exactly. There's a classic I Want song, and one of the characters is 19, even though the actor was probably, what, 25 or so.
Closer, yeah.
But, they made a point to stress that he's 19 and he just wants to get out there, see the world, and meet a girl. And of course, everything that goes with it.
All the extra good parts in the band.
So again, I love the fact that they're pretty much just spelling out what the I Want song is, and
Yeah.
it's catchy, it's good,
Oh,
it's not
Yeah, it's
embarrassing.
very, it's
We'll play
it's
out.
silly. But it's silly like a real musical is silly,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
And-
And yeah, and all the characters get their little thing in, get their
Mhm.
development, and yeah, they're pretty well developed characters for doomed suckers. Most of them are.
even the one in timeout.
Yeah, which I love that too. That they all got to sing a part except the one who was time out. I forget his name, but he's like, I ain't
Miller, I
singing.
believe.
Well,
Miller.
Miller,
Yeah.
the butcher, Miller the butcher. That's right. And he's like, I don't sing. And then later in the show, it's like when they're all completely beat down in the last peg, he's like, that's all I'm asking for is just some meat and some food and water and a
Yeah.
hot bed. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, there is a reprise of all I'm asking for.
Yeah, reprise. Yeah.
It is what one might call a dark Reprise because they are dying of
Dying.
cold and they're dying of
Sure.
then the frostbite makeup is very good.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, as they're dying of frostbite, they try to sing the reprise, but they can't quite pull it off.
Well, one of the things I really
I,
like.
I kept saying reprise for continuity. I prefer reprise myself, but yeah, reprise works.
I was just gonna say the other thing I really like about this is Trey Parker's character is so understated that it makes his humor particularly hilarious.
Yeah, that's kind of his deal in live action, is that he's kind of chill.
Yeah. And so as a result, I love two specific moments where they find Lucky Larry. It's like, Lucky Larry's been struck by lightning.
Oh yeah.
Is he gonna be okay?
As he goes by on a stretcher.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be the tour guide going to
Yeah.
Colorado. He's like, "Oh, who's taking us? Lucky Larry. Oh, he sounds like a lucky
Yeah,
Larry."
yeah.
And then
The mutilated corpse of Lucky Larry comes by. He's like, "Oh, is he gonna be okay?"
My other favorite one is when when they're all dying of exposure, he's like, "Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna scout ahead, see if I can find something on the other side of the mountain that find civilization or something, find help." And when he comes back, everyone is dead horribly. He's like, "What are you guys doing?"
yeah, what are you guys doing? Why are you laying down on the ground? I love that whole mindset.
But again, the idea that it wasn't a big moment, it was just the
Yeah.
idea of him
was like,
just taking
They've all been they've been slaughtered, right?
Oh,
yeah.
obviously.
and
Bell killed them all. Yeah.
yeah, and just the fact that he doesn't seem to process what his eyes see.
Yeah.
Just like, what are you guys doing?
Trey Parker, he's got these big, innocent blue eyes.
Yeah.
I've never realized that
Big
before this
doe
film.
eyes,
Yeah. And
Especially in the
play-
mugshot.
yeah, he plays it up so well. It's just this innocence, and yeah, I believe Packer claimed that it was Bell who killed everybody, and that he then killed Bell in self-defense. But I believe in real life, most people agree that no, Packer probably killed them all himself. Yeah,
Possibly that. Well, and again, it's that gray area that no one really knows.
yeah. Nobody will ever know for sure
That-
because he
that
killed
makes-
them all.
that
Yeah.
makes- well,
Because they're
that's
all dead.
that's what makes for such a compelling story.
Mhm.
The idea that he may not have, but probably did do it.
Yeah, and that is what, and I think that was. I'm sure that was the real Polly Price deal. As he was the only one who really knew, and she wanted to find out what he'd have to say about it.
Yeah.
Which is weird that if you think about how this way ends, if it actually ended the same way for Polly and him in real life, like
I don't
they
think-
got together. You're a psycho murderer, and I love.
I really don't think anything happened.
No, and besides which, the final title card of the film says that thanks to Polly Price efforts, Packer was released from prison in
1890, I think.
yeah,
Something
yeah,
like that.
something like that. And I didn't get what the joke was there at first until I looked it up and realized that's 40 years after the story takes
Mhm.
place. Yeah, Packer went to jail for 40 years for his cannibalism and all that. Yeah.
Well, and again, he was released. He was never technically pardoned or gotten that expunged. He was still on record as having been
Yeah.
found guilty
Yeah,
of
can't
doing
Yeah, and that
it.
was the end of his sentence. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why he got out in 40 years. So
Yes.
yeah, because that was all they had on him, that he ate people, couldn't really confirm if he had murdered them all or not.
That's why they didn't execute him.
Mhm.
But speaking back to the murder, I love the scene where the priest attacks him. He's like, he gets the butcher's knife, puts it in his face, he falls down.
He kills Bell over and over
Over.
again, and every time he comes back, more mutilated eyes.
He's like a horror movie.
Yeah.
villain.
And honestly, the worst part of all the prosthetics things, because there was a lot of gore prosthetics, in the
Yeah.
very first scene, it's very bad. But the one that gets me the most is when they run into the old tall guy.
Cyclops.
The
Cyclops.
Cyclops. So named because he's lost an eye, and
Yeah.
it's still somehow constantly squirting pus all the
Squirting pus,
time.
And it's just plain gross.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's screaming, "You looking at my eyes? Like, what are we supposed to be looking at? Your other eye? How tall you are?"
Although again, the words "you stupid yank" are now officially canon
Yeah.
for that song Dixie.
Dixieland.
I did take that from Cinema Snob,
Word.
but I have to admit he's correct.
Yeah.
Canonically, the words are "look away, look away, look away, you stupid yank."
Love it.
Yep.
But I just wanted to point out though that the other thing that I thought was really effective when I first saw this movie, I don't even know how long ago, is it actually managed to do an excellent job of really foreshadowing exactly what was going to happen when it came time for all these characters to die.
Yeah.
And again, I knew nothing about Alfred Packer from a historical standpoint until this. So when they first set off and the Butcher Miller is a total jerk to everyone and is constantly sitting in timeout, their words, I thought he's going to do it. The Butcher.
The Butcher.
The Butcher.
He's a butcher. He's standoffish from everyone else, and you think he'll be the one among them, but all the same, every so often from the preacher Bell, you get these little moments of temper.
Yeah, and so when I came back and watched it, after the first time,
this will be something I noticed on the second viewing.
They did an excellent job of really building up those cracks in his facade as a holy man of the Lord, who when he's pushed too far, and he will be, he's gonna break.
Well, because even when he goes and kills all the rest of the crew, he's like,
well, the fact that he kills the first one, he kills Swan.
Yeah, when a Swan is being just too cheerful. Yeah. I mean that's we should go over a couple of the iconic musical moments, and one of them is "Let's Build a Snowman." When at their darkest hour, Israel Swan is still ever the optimist, and he just wants them to have some fun and build a snowman and take their mind off things. And by the second time, it is Bell who shoots him dead.
Yep,
for being annoying.
Exactly. And funny story: when I got my first cell phone, I made "Let's Build a Snowman" my ringtone.
Nice.
Cool.
So
Nice.
My first custom ringtone was a "Let's Go to the Mall" from How I Met Your Mother.
That's hilarious. That's a good one too. But
Mine, trying to remember, it was off Cage the Elephants, and it was, I can't remember the song title, but it's the one about, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked.
yeah.
By Cage the Elephants.
But again, I love the musical numbers, but again, the idea that it's building throughout this whole time what is going to happen. I mean, the movie makes it clear at the beginning, these people are going to die.
Yeah.
But finding out is so much fun.
And the way they get there too, and like the whole process of having to get into the storytelling of it, and like the funny jokes and all the extra shit that they add in there. Sorry for my word, but all the extra stuff that they add in there to really just make this.
We're allowed to curse.
Yeah,
I know.
I have never said otherwise.
It just came out of me both ways. Just how it all, I loved, and even the part where, because this became before South Park, right?
Yes.
Because we watched it in subtitles, and there's even a scene where it says Cartman's voice, and you can hear Cartman in the background.
Yeah. What was that supposed to be? Packer singing?
That was just Trey doing a random person walking down the street.
Okay, and so that was a precursor to the Cartman voice, and to the old Cartman voice from the first couple seasons.
It's a really fat one.
Yeah.
Like it fat.
Well, and you can also hear the precursor of Garrison's voice a couple of times too.
He just be whipped out every now and then, like he did both voices in Basketball as well, but that would have been after they were known characters.
And who was I forget the guy with glasses.
Matt Stone.
I understand the joke of the fudge because Packer and fudge.
It inserts slur here.
So his fascination with fudge.
Well, it was okay. That is something I think it's because they were in film school. I think they had taken too much to heart the value of foreshadowing. So like first Humphrey, he sees fudge at the general store. He remembers that he has fudge. Then he offers it to Packer, and Parker and Stone have said that if they had been more experienced writers, they would have realized they really didn't have to foreshadow the fudge quite that much.
They really cheesed it on there.
But I don't know. I thought it was good. Rule of 3,
Yeah. Well, and like I said, the production of this film, for what money it had, I am amazed, like I said, not only by things like the practical effects, the acting, the singing. For, again, a low-budget film, this movie has some great cinematography.
Yeah, and it's all about the locations.
100%
the beautiful Rocky Mountains, and and I guess And because it's a mountainous terrain, they could get some high up shots.
Dude.
And
I even love like the snow shots they have too, because like they can be up in the mountains where all the snow is and really put that aspect of like they are freezing and they all have frostbite. And
or the scene where they're trying to cross the river.
oh yeah.
Yep.
Is there another river we're coming?
I mean, they actually were in that river.
Yep.
The only time it changed is when it showed the close up of them going down the rapids.
Yeah.
They did have to swap
Yeah.
that out, but yeah, they were actually pretty far out there. And again, it's impressive that no CG, no green screens.
Wow.
That's them
In
On location.
On
yeah,
location.
and again, it's just super impressive
Mhm.
because they got some really great scenery.
Good shots, good scenery.
Mhm.
And this popped in my head. I wonder that the scene where they always show them traveling the map where like it's the red line. I wonder if that was the actual accurate the way that they went. Like,
I think they embellished it a little bit.
think
They
a
did.
lot.
Yeah, I don't think Packer led them quite that far off
because
course.
he went like over here and then down, then back around, then back down again, and then back up.
I mean, again, they did get approximately where they did get thrown
Yeah.
off course, but that's just it.
Because what was it, Washaw or Sawatch? They got to
Sawatch.
Sawatch. Yeah.
But again, it's an approximation because I mean, only a few people knew exactly where to find those
Yeah.
bodies and all that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure somebody probably has retraced those steps.
Yeah,
to
and
probably
they
find
they
it,
often
but-
filmed it exactly where it happened.
And I also like the when you just said hide the bodies when they send out the search party with the sheriff and he comes back completely like hammered and he just points to random Packer. And he turns to Action Packer. Packer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or-
no, yeah, the actor really was drunk and easily
Whoa, wait,
easily,
what?
easily one of the yeah, he just happened to be, and that's why he forgot his line. Yeah, one of the best moments is when he says to Packer, "Yeah, it's almost sunrise. You know what they say about sunrise." And then he blatantly forgets his line and walks away, which is obviously so much funnier than whatever the line was gonna be, right?
Exactly.
Just doesn't even want to finish it.
That's obviously why they kept it in.
Yeah.
Or again, the visual trickery they do when he runs away from the mob, and you just see the same people coming out of the saloon.
Yeah.
And you see even him coming back in and out too.
Or a couple of people in t-shirts.
Yeah, just like
Yeah, and yeah,
through.
some recognizable characters come by more than once, and yeah, it's and yeah.
And see, this is just an example of what a great filmmaker will do.
Oh my
They will use the limitations they have
Mhm.
to enhance their material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes to make it funnier, sometimes because it's all they got. Like, I mean, yeah. Allegedly, the knights from Monty Python and the Holy Grail are followed around by serpents with coconuts because horses weren't in the budget. Allegedly,
Oh.
I don't really believe that. I think the coconuts were an idea from the beginning. But hey, if true, cool.
I
Cool.
mean,
Yeah.
in this movie, they used, I think, like 6 different horses.
Yeah.
and you can tell that
Yeah.
you can tell they didn't bother to get a bunch of identical horses. Leanne changes a lot.
Yeah.
Which I didn't notice that the first time, but on the second time, I definitely noticed.
Yeah.
It's just funny too. And then they always called that type of horse. That's not a right miner's horse.
An Arabian.
An Arabian.
Arabians are trapper horses.
Trapper horses. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
really?
yeah. How true is that? I'd probably not at all. Probably
Oh,
making
yeah.
shit up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the D word that I'm not going to say for reasons. The word they use to
Yeah.
slander minors.
Yeah. No, that didn't occur to me that you shouldn't say that. But I mean, yeah, they're.
I'm just,
I figure there are
I'm not
people who
gonna
dig,
list
but
them.
I mean, considering Parker and Stone, yeah,
yeah.
that's probably what they had in mind.
Well, again, the way they were saying it, it just kind of came off with that
Yeah.
whole energy.
Yeah.
A derogatory term
For someone who
for
minds.
people who dig. Yes.
Yes. And so to avoid the comparison, I ain't gonna say it.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Safe.
But it was still, again, this movie is just an example of just watching brand new talent just
Oh.
burst on the scene and have everyone say, these guys are going to go somewhere, so pay attention.
Exactly.
And so I love the
Retail
fact that
stores,
when
yeah.
they, I love that when they ended up doing South Park, this didn't get into Sundance. And so they made an entire episode making fun of film festivals like Sundance
Yeah.
and Robert Redford.
Hmm.
I don't think
Yeah,
they're
no.
bitter. I think they're just,
I think they get to be bitter people,
No, I know.
It's like
I know.
the day that Phil Collins beat them for the best original song Oscar, they made a Phil Collins episode,
Well, actually, they made two. They made that episode, and then in the sledding episode after it, they had Phil Collins Hill, just his face imposed on a hill.
Phil Collins. Oh my god. I could almost see like them doing it on this show. I wish they did something like that.
Yeah, I have to wonder what kind of episode they would have made if they lost the Tony Award for Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
That's another one I need to see too. Is Book of Mormon.
Oh, I highly recommend it. It's
Have
amazing.
you seen it like on stage somewhere? or-
Yeah, I saw it in Chicago, and I saw it with one of my friends, my older brother, and my mom, and we had such fun with it. It was amazingly well done in terms of singing, dancing, choreography, and all that stuff. But there's one particular song called "The Spooky Mormon Hell Dream,"
Mhm.
and when he gets to hell, he sees various people like Jeffrey Dahmer and what's his name, Johnny Cochran,
Yeah.
the attorney. And so after it's like, wait, I didn't see Johnny Cochran. Who did you see? Did you see Hitler? Yeah, I saw Jeffrey Dahmer. We were
Yeah.
we all
Everyone
saw
has the
different
spooky
things.
Mormon hell dream.
Or during the song making stuff up where one of the characters is adding things like Mordor and Jedi into the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
It's like, I saw Nichelle Nichols. Oh yeah, I saw, I saw the Hobbit.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend Book of Mormon if you get a chance to see it.
And speaking of nightmares, the scene where they copied Oklahoma with
The dream sequence,
Yeah,
the dream ballet.
Yeah,
if
the
you will.
dream ballet. Yeah, and when the really good ballet moves are happening, you can clearly see the dancer's face, and it is not Trey Parker.
Yeah.
Including Trey doing a whole
rotation.
Yeah, he'll finish. Yeah, he'll finish the moves, but then when he's really doing it, it ain't him.
or super extend his face on a turn before it cuts
Comes
to
back.
the dancer. Yeah.
Honestly, the guy who's the guy who played the trapper?
I don't remember his name.
It was.
I
uh,
cast list.
I
yeah.
don't remember, but he
Trapper,
was awesome.
They didn't show his dancer's face. I don't think because
That's because
he turned around and like
he didn't really do a lot of like
No,
super
he-
intense choreography.
But
he was the cinematographer of the film.
okay.
Yeah, so
But again, they deliberately cut out Trey for the scenes that he could not do,
Yeah.
and they made it really obvious because there are a lot of musicals and movies. Flashdance comes to mind, where there are scenes where it's obvious where they have a dance double.
Yeah.
You can tell.
So they're kind of having fun with that whole concept.
Well, that swapping in and out kind of comedy kind of bit.
yeah,
I like that.
and yeah, it's very good. And and talking of choreography, like I think the biggest embodiment of this movie, and it's sad that it happened so near the end, is "Hang the Bastard."
Yeah.
It's this very cheerful whole town song about how there's gonna be a hanging. Won't you
Yeah.
come to the hanging with me? And it's a very big number, and considering it was considering that the dancers were they didn't get trained dancers, they just got a bunch of volunteers who just signed up to be in it, and they made the choreography work
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah,
Almost
well,
like an actual dancers, like paid professional.
well, I can only think of a couple of instances where you probably would have needed like really serious dancers who showed
Yeah.
off. The rest of it was a lot of doopsie doing around each other.
Yeah,
But personally, I think "Hanging the Bastard" is probably my favorite number
Mhm.
out of the entire thing. I mean,
Mhm.
I love songs like "Let's Build a Snowman" and "Shpadoinkle,"
Yeah.
but in terms of full out musical numbers, this one has everything. It's got callbacks, it's got humor, it's got a great chorus number. And I love the idea that when you look at it from the perspective of these townspeople, this is the most exciting thing
Yeah,
this town has
happened.
seen in years. A
Yep.
direct lyric. They'll make some hot dogs and drink a few beers.
Yeah.
It's just, again, that's what people did in those days.
yeah, go to hanging. Yeah,
So again, I love that sense of mass hysteria that you would get from those kinds of events in the public, and they were able to make it a chipper, upbeat finale song.
yeah, that's really embodies the film. My favorite number myself is the Trapper song.
Okay,
Yeah, and I think you said you agreed with that.
Oh,
one.
yeah,
yeah.
I'm right there
That
with
was
you.
your favorite. Yeah, I love me a villain song, and the Trapper song is performed by Frenchie. His voice dubbed by Trey Parker, as we mentioned, and yeah, it's all about him being the big butch manly man, and yeah, it's a good number too. Like you always see the miners, they'll always be turning around at where he is now. Like he's apparently teleporting all around as he does his dances, and yeah, and he just shows off all his manliness. He's got balls of thunder that can break right through a wall, and he demonstrates. Yeah.
And then there's a wall just there.
There.
Yeah.
Just a plain, just little short brick wall, and somehow he ends up in a tree at one point.
Yeah, it's villain song. It's I don't know. It just has, I don't know, just something about its instrumentation just really reminded me of something else. Like at first I thought it kind of sea shanty-ish, but it's also it's kind of techno-y with the modern instrumentation. I'm not sure. What did I say when we saw it? When I finally realized what it reminded me of.
I'm trying to remember.
I've forgotten again.
Sorry, but what I do like is the fact that you mentioned that this follows one standard musical trope. Actually, it follows a lot of them.
Yeah, follows it. Yeah, you got
Well,
your I Want song,
yeah.
you got your villain song. Yeah.
Well, and the thing I love, and shout out to the YouTube channel Sideways for his content. But villains usually don't have I Want songs unless you're Frollo and Hunchback. You have I Am songs.
Yeah.
I am a trapper. I'm a mean green mother from outer space. I'm shiny.
I'm shiny.
Yeah.
Villains have I Am songs, and they did that supremely well in this
Yeah.
case.
Oh yeah, there's very clever rhymes and stuff. You got to yeah, there's very clever rhymes and a lot of good patter in that villain song, and I appreciate it.
I also find it hilarious that not only do they incorporate themes of Riverdance,
Yeah.
it's also funny when you think of the fact that Frenchie is so much shorter than his two henchmen.
Oh,
yeah.
So you have the whole Napoleon complex
Yeah,
going on
it's like
there
their henchmen are, like,
too.
up here, and, like he's like down there. And I
Yeah.
love too. And it also works very well if the two henchmen are terrible singers because
Yeah.
it really adds like the extra just funniness to it. Because when they come in, they do not try. It's like the only parts they do come in is like really like the yo ho.
Well,
and
and for the yo-ho, one of them, I don't remember which one. One of them so far back, it makes you wonder, could he even hear what they were doing?
He was like, yo. And then there was the one where the one was having this sensitive part of his
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
And then there was some like I wouldn't say it's CGI, but video editing where they would change the color scheme of the leaves around them to make them either more potent green or during that scene of the melancholy they turned them purple.
Is that what happened? I don't know. I
know.
did feel like, yeah, the leaves were really vibrantly green in a lot of places, and I wasn't sure how natural that was. Yeah.
Not entirely sure.
But yeah, during that melancholy scene when he's singing like
Oh yeah.
they do change him to purple because he doesn't like he
I just
doesn't want to be a trapper,
I
but
just thought
doesn't
he
wanna
was
be
among lilacs.
Yeah,
Or
or cherry blossoms
Cherry
or
blossoms,
something.
yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think they did anything to change it. I think they just put them around.
smart flowery.
Oh,
area.
yeah.
A flowery tree that has
Purple,
purple,
yeah.
pinkish,
Which makes sense because
blooms.
shot on location the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
It's still of a, and then he just going around sucking Venus,
Sucker Venus, yeah. He comes up and bullies his old trapper buddy.
Yeah.
Sucker Venus.
Also, we've got to love the fact that one of them has googly eyes on his head.
Yeah, I did notice that the first time. Yeah. Nutter wears a skunk hat with googly eyes, and yeah, they never zoom in on it they never focus on it apart from Humphrey repeatedly telling him, "Hey, nice hat."
Also, when you talked about Leanne, kind of jump back into that. The trapper said everybody's rode Leanne.
Yeah, everybody's ridden Leanne because she's
that
that
was-
neighborhood horse.
neighborhood horse.
that was essentially Trey Parker calling his ex-fiance a skank.
And
Yeah.
the other part of it is remember where at the very end he's like, "Well, what about your horse? Oh, I don't need Leanne anymore." And he just
Yeah.
pulls out his sword
And you hear the horse cry.
you know. And then for some reason, in the Native American has a samurai sword.
Well,
Katana.
yeah, not because they're the
I know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just funny that Oh, sorry. That's phone fell. That was my bad.
You're up.
But it's just funny that you just see that he pulls out the sword to save
It just walks
Parker.
off.
Yeah.
Just walks off.
Oh yeah,
Well, he
from
also
the beginning.
decapitates somebody.
Oh,
Yeah. They had the katanas from the beginning. The Indian Braves did. They
Yeah.
pointed them at the.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they always did. It's like basically there's nothing hiding that they are for whatever reason they are Japanese people disguising themselves as natives just for.
Mhm.
Oh, that
For
reminds
sure.
me. I found out that the scene where Humphrey claims to speak Indian,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he signs. He said, "Welcome to the land of blue light." I don't do sign language, by the way. That was not
Yeah,
me.
that was just
Yeah. Matt Stone was signing Jesus Christ is dead.
Oh, was he
Oh,
really?
Allegedly, that's
Allegedly.
what he was signing.
Oh my god. Welcome to the blue sun. The land of the blue sky.
Oh, that's funny.
And again, it's or the two alien references I've been able to find with
Yeah.
the snowman, and at the end, towards the end of Hang the Bastard, you can see an alien in the barn.
Ah,
Yeah.
So the classic alien visitors, like
Yeah.
for the first 8 seasons of South Park,
Yeah,
they kept
yeah.
that up. There was always one in the background, once in every episode, and
so
that started here. Yeah.
So yeah, again, just the idea that you pick up on all these teeny tiny little details the more you watch.
I was saying it makes me want to watch again just to see that part again.
Oh.
To see if he pops up anymore. And
Yeah.
that
Again, I've only been able to find 2, but I don't know. For all I know, there are
you
more.
never know.
I've always
No,
said
there are 3 in the South Park movie, so
Yeah.
3 is a good amount for a whole movie as
But
opposed to one episode.
Always,
Yeah.
I've always said that I really wish that this movie could become one of those event movies, kind of like Rocky Horror or The Room. I would love to see this start playing in more revival theaters across the country, so more people will start watching
my
it.
God.
That'd be sweet.
This movie deserves to be seen. I don't know how Matt and Trey feel about it. It's possible that they
Don't care
never
about
want to do anything with it ever again. But there's no denying that this film is so much fun to watch, especially with a group
God.
of friends.
Well, you even say that like it is a come on par kind of with Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Because besides like the gore, the funny goofiness of it, the camera, how the camera angle, the camera looks, how everything kind of looks very similar. And it's like even that even gives it more of a point of how good it is because Rocky Horror Picture Show was a production, like a full-on production
Mhm.
with the budget. And this was a show that did have a budget, not like a crazy budget, like you said, but they still pulled it off, and it reminds you of this great, good performance and like high quality and just all around good time. Like the whole time, like even the songs.
Yeah, it kind of renewed my thoughts. Is like there's some nice forests around here. Like if we had an idea, if we had some equipment, we could
Yeah.
film something around here.
We can go up to the Sakanat campground and film something there.
Silent or Wakanda or not
Mhm.
Wakanda.
No, yeah,
It's
Wakanda.
Actually, but no, and then
Not spelled the same way as the
no,
movie.
no,
Don't get any
And
ideas.
then when you were talking about the Irish dancing with the killer song, reminds me of the Snowman song where he's like, oh, after he
He
digs.
tap dances in the snow, and much later, Humphrey wonders how he did that. I was like, you're asking this now?
No.
Not to
Right.
mention the fact that he's in driving snow and you conspicuously cannot see his
feet.
Yeah.
He's just like wearing his hat. I just love the happiness too of the whole time. And even when they're like eating the person too, he's happy eating the person. And Humphrey's definitely happy eating the person.
Yeah, it's like,
'Cause you
initially, that's a good gag. You know, Humphrey is the one least interested in eating their fallen comrade, but then at the end, and you see most of them are just doing it grudgingly. They're doing it to survive, and Humphrey is digging into his whole arm, and later his foot. Yeah.
And then like in that morning, he's like, we still got more of him around. I'm hungry. When's breakfast?
Yeah. Well, the thing I love also is the fact that after, after he's killed, it's like, well, you're the butcher, right?
Butch.
Go
Butch.
Yeah.
And
So
the
the
knife.
knife.
And he starts cutting on his butt. He's like, Oh, don't cut the butt. It's like, what do you mean?
Well, what pieces do you want?
Not
Well, not
butt.
Not butt. It's funny though because that's one of the parts.
I assume that is the best part of a human to eat. That's what they went for first in the movie Alive. I saw that.
I mean, I hope and
Juicy
pray
butt.
I am never in a scenario where I have to find out.
You don't want juicy butt?
No, I do not.
Slow roasted butt.
No, thank you.
Sauteed. Deep
I
fried.
hope I am never in a scenario like they were in this movie or in the movie Alive.
Butt chops.
I think you have a problem.
Oh, I killed myself. Oh my gosh. Woo!
All right, well,
Mercy me.
it's time
Keep
to
it up, and
wrap
you're
it-
not the only one who kills you.
Hey, there's a lot of meat on me. So
Yeah.
So
Let's see. Have we mentioned every single song? I think we have, because
Yeah,
that's pretty
so-
good. Yeah, they're all.
well, no, we forgot one. The sentimental romantic ballad "When I Was on Top of Her."
Yes, there's Packer's reminiscences about his horse. Yeah.
I will admit that probably is sadly the most forgettable
It
song,
was, yeah.
mainly because I feel it was just built to make that double entendre.
Yeah. But also, you don't want to picture Trey Parker fucking a horse.
No. But at the same time,
He was just on top of it.
Just
That's
on top
all.
of him.
At
Just
the-
on top
but
of
then
him.
again, at the same time, at the end of the show,
Mhm.
when Polly gets his
Yeah.
execution,
Oh yeah,
day,
there's another
they-
guy.
they-
Yeah.
phrase that
On
she says,
top of
"If
me.
you were on top of me,"
Yeah.
or she would have if she didn't get interrupted.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of one last thing I wanted to say. You know, when Packer talked about how he doesn't need Leanne anymore, he's got Polly. I think he was dating Toddy at the time.
Mm.
So very literal there. He doesn't need Leanne. He's got Toddy, right?
No idea on that front, but
Wow,
it's
yeah.
still really funny.
That's funny as heck of it.
Like I said, Toddy is actually a really good singer. It's
Yeah,
kinda
and she's
shame
quite
she didn't-
beautiful. I don't. I know. Well, was she in Orgasmo?
I
think
don't
I-
remember.
But I know she played Winona Ryder in the South Park movie
Yeah.
and was like additional voices in an episode or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she didn't really take off, which is too bad. She's a
But-
good performer.
Yeah, again, she has a really nice singing voice, so it's kind of a shame she didn't get to sing a little bit more in this movie, but I understand why. Now I think we have covered every single song.
I think so. Almost every single part. too.
Yeah.
You know what
And
part-
we've
Go ahead. No, I was like say the only person I was thinking of was I was wondering who it was the prosecutor. The very beginning, we was chopping the story, and it's that dude with like missing all the hair. He keeps hitting on Polly.
Yeah,
And she always says asshole.
Yeah.
yeah, the sheriff. No, I
I
don't.
forget who he
Yeah,
is because I
I
think
don't
he
think-
works. Does he work with Trey Parker and Matt Stone and later stuff?
I
'Cause he
think
looks
I
familiar.
think they all kind of showed up here and there in some of their early projects.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I didn't look into who
Yeah.
played the sheriff. No,
Yeah.
I
usually
maybe
keep
should have,
cast.
but yeah.
I usually keep a cast with me.
Yeah,
so I'm-
but it's hard because it's in alphabetical order, so you can't really find the important
For sure,
people.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Scroll through.
yeah. But yeah, I think we're done. Let's do our let's do the bit. I mean, I never prepare for this part where we go do and give it a letter grade.
So I don't know how much else I can sing this movie's praises. I love this film. I want as many people to see it as possible. It is hilarious. It is educational. If you don't know anything about Alfred Packer, I don't know how much of it's right, but you'll at least learn there was a guy named Alfred Packer. Fantastic work. Again, it was one of those movies that really made people take notice that Trey Parker and Matt Stone specifically, the entire cast is great, but those two specifically as the main driving force behind South Park, this is the thing that really made people take notice. These guys were going to go somewhere. And it's very evident when you watch this film. It is a low budget production. So yes, you will probably see some mistakes, issues with certain continuity being off, but you know what? It adds to the charm of just how hilarious this movie really is. I love it. Not perfect, but still phenomenal. Again, if you have Peacock, it is on Peacock. Check it out. I give this movie an A.
with the other dude. I love this both times I watched it. If I watched it again, I'd love it again because I laughed through it the whole time. I noticed all the different things, and like I said, you get to really enjoy it again for a second time. Also recommend watching this. This is one of the ones, and for how low budget it is, and like it's still like really, really good. Like still holds up crazy good, even though like the camera doesn't look, it looks kind of funky and stuff like that, outdated, but it still holds up. Like Rocky Horror Picture Show, it's still that kind of old and still holds up just like that. And so I'm not too big into the South Park. I know I'm gonna get hated for that. I don't really care for it too much. But knowing that they had all these other stuff really makes me want to go and look at all their other stuff that they did. And you never know, we might have more stuff where we're gonna watch them and talk about them more later down the line or something like that. I love it. And it's one of them ones that just through the whole thing, just loved it all the time. I love a good musical. I love a good movie. I love a good story, and I definitely love good jokes. And so for me, rating this is an easy A+ for me.
Okay. I mean, I gotta say, I mean, yeah, what something Mason said earlier just really made the impact of it all hit me. This was new talent rising, right? And just coming into the world, and yeah, they're still around. I've been on a bit of a South Park kick lately. It's not in order or anything. Just some classic episodes here and there, and old ones and new ones, and some of the new ones are very good. And I mean it, and yet they're just very underrated talent, for sure. At least Trey Parker is, who does pretty much everything. I don't know. I'm not sure what Matt even does. He's just kind of around all the time, it seems. I guess he's just the one who's always around, the one who stuck with him after all of that. I don't know. But sorry, Matt. I don't know. I like what you do. I don't know. um. Oh boy, I really lost my train of thought there. Okay, so yeah, just really good underrated talent, and I like this movie because this was their debut, and it just shows they've always been this super extra clever. And I don't know, I don't, as I get older, just the vulgarity stops appealing to me. It's like now I'm not shy about cursing, and I get annoyed by people who clutch their pearls over bad language. It's just words, and but just yeah, the level of it which is South Park, and just their general body of work goes, just how I don't know. I just feel like they don't need to rely so much on the grossness and the crassness, because they are so clever that they're funny without it. And yeah, I have that problem with Star Kid as well. I'm a huge Star Kid fan. They don't have to be that gross all the time. They're um but yeah, I mean, it's just their general aesthetic is why I'm gonna have to give it an A-. But
Okay.
no, huge fan of the talent, the writing, the music, and just especially how fortunate they were to get the scenery, because this is a very beautiful film to look at. Just like the same way that you admire, you just looking at like a really old film from the 50s, when there were no non-practical effects, where it was all truly there, and
Mhm.
that is very awesome. And yeah, this film has it. And so yeah, like I said, A-. So yeah, A's across the board here, as with the Trail to Oregon, which immediately followed this one. Yeah, so we like our frontier musicals, it seems.
Oh,
yeah.
Love it.
um
I almost feel like I was in an alternate life, was born during that time.
yep, so much dysentery.
Love the dysentery.
And so yeah, here we are. Well, you would have noticed already, because it wasn't planned when we did the previous episode, but yeah, as of this recording, we did our episode on Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves last week, and I edited it, but decided not to release it yet because I wanted us to have a little bit of a buffer. So, yeah, we could call you can call Honor Among Thieves our season 2 premiere already, right? Yeah. And so yeah, we're just and so yeah, just here in the recording timeline, we're a bit ahead of you viewers, not just releasing them the same week we recorded them anymore. We're letting a buffer build up, and yeah, I am very grateful to these guys for just having this for just having this thing that we can do all the time, and just kind of keep my channel alive, and and yeah, just more importantly, it's just a whole lot of fun to be doing this, and
Exactly. You got it. Couldn't say it better myself, man. You did a great job.
yeah, and hey, if you've been following this channel for a while, well, then I'm kind of mad at you because you've never told me. This channel never gets comments. I want to know if people are watching, please.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Anything.
It's-
I knew it'd come back around.
That said, for those of you who are watching, we do appreciate
Yeah.
you, and
100%.
by all means, we gotta appease the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah,
Like, share, and subscribe, please.
Hit the notification
yeah.
buttons.
And let's see. I'm trying to find a schedule so we can tease what's coming next year to do. Okay,
But yeah,
it's a little agenda. There.
extremely grateful for everybody, everybody that
Yes.
we've worked with, and everybody who watches us and shares our stuff and comments. We love
Especially those who share.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've just we've been we've had that teaser out for 3 months now, and I wanted the intervening 3 months to just be really focusing on the creative stuff, and it didn't it just didn't quite work out. But hey, maybe this quarter we'll do it all. That's how it goes. And yeah, okay. Yeah. Next time we'll be revisiting our very first movie night we had together. It will be Holy Musical Batman. And then after that we'll cover the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which I know, it's probably, not exactly the hottest time to hop on that subject, but I wanted to revisit everything that we've seen together, and so the Mario movie, it will be one of those things.
You just wanted to see Jack Black sing Peaches again.
I can do that anytime. I don't need you guys for that. Even though, no, it's not exactly. So yeah, we'll be watching the Super Mario movie, and we'll be doing it not hopping on a trend because it's past. That makes us cooler.
Exactly. We're
So,
not following trends. We're
yeah.
making trends.
Yeah.
We'll still cover popular movies at some point. Just
Maybe at
We did
some point we
Spider-Man.
will be covering something current again. But I mean, we've got a buffer. We'll be releasing episodes 2 or 3 weeks after we do them now, so probably not super extra current, but
Recent enough.
yeah, recent enough. So, all right, well, that's it for this one, guys. Thanks so much for joining us again, and we'll see you next time. To support Tapas and learn more, visit our link tree. Tapas and Stuff Productions is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon, including Knight Sadie Allen.